Hello, hello, and welcome. I am Varden Heste, and we are playing Katawa Shoujo. I saw that this game was free, and then learned that it was, a really wholesome dating sim game, and I kind of want to play it. I already have, my eye on one particular character. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. Let's just begin, because I really just want to get right into it. And this music's amazing. I really like this music. It really sets the tone. I like it. It's my music that I particularly like. And now it's begin. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now in the late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here, anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way it shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in the stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hi. How do I say his name? Isao? You came. A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Iwanako, I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle, even if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes locked with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there motionless, save for the pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Aisyo? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. I feel my whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. He's having a heart attack. Iso? The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of the bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last things I remember, before slipping away, are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for her help, the incessant clatter of the branches above. Ori. And he dies. End of game. Oh, he survives. Four Leaf Studios presents. Ooh, this is a nice intro. Katawa Shoujo. Inspiration. Writer. Oh, this is nice. Writing. Anonymous. Aura. This is a nice little animation. I didn't even notice animations in this. I mean, it is a simple animation, but still. Pretty impressive. Art. Hello, Trollin. It's good to see you. Yeah, I saw this game was free, and I wanted to try it. You better have the time of your life. Well, I am looking forward to it. Directing, Delta, Rady. This is a nice animation. I did not expect animation. Production. Where does it go? I live. I survive. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room, unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arthemia. A strange word, a foreign alien one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. Hello, Flash. Hello, Flash. Good to see you. How's it going? Just started the game. We had a heart attack while a girl confessed to me. And now we're in a hospital room. We were here for 4 months. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. Love is a hell of a drug, and not everybody can handle it. Especially him. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. That happens. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Well, that happens too. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by a regular basis. Iwanko was the last to stop visiting. Well, at least she's kept visiting for a while. I mean, that was pretty new. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. Happens. The hospital is not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors, nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry. They have a million other patients waiting for them. But it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scars that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving. My expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital. Although it was more like a storeroom for books, I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. Meanwhile, the real hospital would have booted him the second they could get someone else in that bed. Definitely. But I love the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. I've been there. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness, though the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot. The heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in, gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he is trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here, and it's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is a ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hasio. How are you today? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. Hello, Zane. Good to see you. We're still in the very beginning. We had a heart attack, and now I think we're about to get released from the hospital. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, and dosages are listed line after line, with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day. You need to become a true American and take the pharmacy of pills. Exactly. I do try to avoid pills as much as possible. I remember when I cracked my head open one day, like I got my stitches done. They gave me a prescription for, for painkillers. I think it was Vicodin. And I didn't take them. I never even got them. I just wanted to I'd rather deal with the pain, you know? Mm-hmm. Don't like that. Erectile dysfunction pills was it there? I'm afraid that is the best we can do at this point. I've only needed antibiotics when I got bad infections. I mean, those are good to take. It's just pain, so no big deal, exactly. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hasio. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down. The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever my concern shows is ignored. Hey, at least you get to leave the hospital. Exactly. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What, am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of its students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. That sounds reasonable. We went out there and had a look at a couple of weeks back. I think you'd like it. I know, he's just nitpicking. How dare you? It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I had always thought of my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I can go back to school any way, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know now it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this. But the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. Don't let me, but let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start. My life isn't over. It could be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. There you go. Being a bit more positive. Let's see. At least you're not going to Bulworth Academy from the Game Bully exactly. Life Expectancy, Act 1. Finish the prologue. Yay, I finished it. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate from a school should look like, but couldn't really decide probably. No. Hello Sky, good to see you. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. I just want to test that to see if I can still do this. I want to just make sure the music's just a little bit lower. A little bit lower. Okay. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yaoku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley, even though I was told this is my new school. In the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing around me catch my attention. And it makes me think about the hospitals again, how they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all the greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous with this realization sent my head. I opened the front door. A tall man with a bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Niki. Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Sure. I'll introduce myself. Why? I don't know. Realistically, I don't like introducing myself. And see. Do you want to introduce yourself? Oh no, they gave me a choice already. I don't know what to choose. Oh no. Yeah, of course. I'll introduce myself. Yeah, sure, I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be at the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Trust your gut, Varden. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to worrying so much about it. At least, not this soon. Let's see. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around partially so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of new classmates. Let's see. She's looking kind of cute, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over around in between the desks. Varden, hello, fellow humans. Hello, humans. I am also human, and I hope we can be humans together. An entire wall taken up by the back blackboards and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks, with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. She also looks very interesting too. I am not a vampire. Hello, fellow humans. I am not a vampire, so don't worry about that. Now, just make sure there's no mirrors in the, especially silver-backed mirrors. And also, I want these blinds to be closed at all times, due to my skin condition. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school. But then, why would they be here? Also, I have dietary things I have to do, so because of my disability. They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I noticed that one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Oh no. What's his disability? Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while it introduces me to the class. I see she's missing her legs. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me, a girl with a really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hand as if it will make her invisible. Oh, I know which girl that is. Guy in the back is getting that good sleep, exactly. Maybe he's narcoleptic. There is one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions, sign language. She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of cute, so is the cheery-looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing and thanks for this applause I did not deserve. Oh, it's her. Wow, she's missing 2 legs and an arm. That sucks. That sucks. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So I'm Haisyo Dakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied, even with that little I said, though a few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. And see, is everything back yet? I do have to redo all my stuff because it doesn't just come back, sadly. Doesn't just come back. Woody. Well, hopefully we didn't lose too much. Let me go ahead and put this back. How about? Woody. Let me see, it looks like we're back. Let me just make sure I have everything set up again. I have to redo the chats and stuff. Do. Put this here. There we go. And there we go. Think that's good. Okay. There we go. Hopefully it didn't miss too much. Oh no. Oh yeah, this is something about this game for some reason. If you tab out and tab back in, it'll disappear off the OBS. And then you gotta wait for a little bit. Hopefully it comes back. There we go. Here we are. I think we're good. I get worried that the world is ending when my VTuber starts buffering. It's just the same internet problem I've been having. The internet's unreliable now. Ever since they improved it. Air quotes. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She is the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh right, Hakamichi is right there. Shizuni Hakamichi. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi. I'm Mishi. This is Hakamichi. Shik-chan. Oh, that's Hakamichi. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she has been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of a dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. Oh my goodness, the music got really loud again. I think the music, it goes up or down depending on how my character's feeling about situations. I think that's what's going on. see. It's nice to meet you. The music is peaking. Yeah, it's getting really loud. Yo, Varden. Hello, Kaiju, good to see you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Takamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, "You'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you?" I can see you were a little confused, right? But I understand why you would think I was Shichan. Shichan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you, too. Oh, thank you. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shichan, of course, he is. If he wasn't, he would have been standing up there for no reason, right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today, so soon. Hichan, right? Hichan? Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Yeah, you look just like a Hichan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Takamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shichan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there is anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Thank you. Do you like the school so far? We could show you around a little if you haven't had the time to talk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks. That would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to the class today. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school either. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Shichan? Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that. Or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it, half-assedly. But anyway. I don't see anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slipping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way. Please, I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. Alright. Oh, another thing. You don't have to call Shichan something so formal like Takamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shichan. Oh. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Yep. Shizune is fine. Huh, okay. That would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I presumed would be all business. Well, she still seems like that, just less so, I guess. Alright, we haven't even touched the assignment. we should start work on now, or Shichan will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. That too. Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than anyone else in the class. Despite our late start, Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I followed Misha, who was beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in this school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its big windows open the courtyard towards the main gate. It's the cafeteria. Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There is a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. Yes, my special dietary needs. How nice. It almost feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating portions of measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to a table, sitting opposite of her. As I nibble indifferently at the food, I'd rather not eat. Misha pokes me in the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. I don't understand sign, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite. Do you want to know something? What? About anything. We're your guides, so you should ask if there is something. I wonder. Ask about, her deafness. I think I got everything I need to know. Ask about the library. Oh yeah, is there a library in the school? Lately I've gotten into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Misha gives the kind of frown that makes it clear she doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again. Bro, not right off the bat. Yeah, just go straight up into like, oh yeah, so you're deaf, right? My goodness. There it is. It's the second floor. We can show it to you sometime. Thanks. I return to my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animately, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they are talking about secret girl stuff or something. I quickly notice a conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. The dark-haired girl I noticed before is slumped over her desk at the last row. Hello. No, don't go away. She jumps a little when Misha crashes to the room with elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly turning into a stone just from our presence. Misha and Shizune either don't notice or don't mind it as they walk directly past her to their seats and begin to converse. Don't leave, new friend. No, friend, no. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students, and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of the class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that made me like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. Before long, the final bell rings. School is finally over for the day. Beside me, Misha and Shizune are having a short conversation. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today. Hichan, we've got to hurry already since there are a lot of work for us to do. Well, to be fair, the protag didn't take any of his medication. That is true. You gotta take your medication. All of it, especially your erectile dysfunction medication. You'll find your way around here. I'm sure of it. Oh wait, the teacher said I'd have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside. True, he needs his ED pills. We join the flow of the students, making their way down the stairwell and outside with the girls pointing out their other senior classrooms in the same hallway as ours. When we get outside, the girls make their way to the smaller building, right next to the school. It's built in the same style, so it looks like it's actually a part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of official and important stuff inside, like the Yamaku Foundation office and all the nurses' offices. They even have a swimming pool. Nice. How is that official? Don't be silly, Hichan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyway, all the nursing staff facilities are in there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. It'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going then. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with actual education. I guess it's necessary for a place like this. Oh wow, this looks more like a like an asylum. I walk in, hoping that this really will be only a quick visit, like the teacher said. On a white door on the left is a green cross with the text "Head Nurse" and a nameplate. A voice from inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I don't quite make it out. I see it was just nitpicking. Most students would be happy to have a pool. Exactly. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself further in. The room is not large and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his office chair to face me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there are at least a dozen coffee cup rings lingering on the desk. Hello there. What can I do for you today? He is young-looking and sort of rugged, but the dimples in his cheeks wash the impression away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who has heard the very same question hundreds of times. Why, yes, I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by my name, or just the nurse, like everyone else. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I probably should grab his extended hand. His handshake is rather firm and friendly. Right, I'm a new student and my homeroom teacher told me to come and meet you. My name is Aisio Nakai. His eyes light up with revelation, and he snaps his fingers. Okay, you're that Nakai. I was just reading your file in the morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia and related congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures me to sit down in the vacant arms chair in front of the desk. My goodness. Why does the music get louder all the time? I swear. You can see it right there. He gestures me to sit down in a vacant armchair in front of his desk. Yes. Good. Well, we've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of facilities available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there is a problem. The famous 24-hour nursing staff. Wow, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. His jokes feel so out of place that I'm left thinking why he even said it. Yeah, just that it's really weird to have so many medical people at a school. They'll get used to it. I'm not so sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know it. Now, let me just find your file again. Good one, Mr. Nurse. While he searches for something from his computer and shuffles stacks of papers around, I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I like to say. Beige walls and ceiling, dark gray laminate flooring, and all the equipment you'd expect from a school nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters are hanging on all 4 walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day and from all the food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick files and opens it. So you'll already have medication for the arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening, or it won't be much help. Apart from that, do you do any sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing. He grins to his own joke, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Alright, I'm afraid I'm going to have to recommend you refrain from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh, my lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow, but really, I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. Yep, we'll all take our ED pills every morning, as prescribed by nurse. I guess I never did it out of burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Any kind of concussion might be very dangerous to your heart, and risking another attack is not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There is no mention of the cause in your papers. Not exactly. I sidestep the question acceptably, and he glances at me over his papers, with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do you good. We have physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you really need such heavy measures. Hello, goddess, good to see you. Just got some light exercise regularly. Brisk walks, or even light jogging, jumping rope, that sort of thing. Swimming, maybe there's a pool here. Be right back, I shall see you when you arrive. So I was told. You were very good. At any rate, and I'm sure you've been told this before, you just need to take care of not to overexert yourself. He wags his finger to emphasize the point. No need really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risks. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk, obviously content. Good, that's it. Then, come meet me if you ever need something. I'm ushered out before I even realize it. A quick visit indeed. I end up standing in front of the main building, and the auxiliary building, although to my eyes, they still look one and the same. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch people coming out of the school, going towards the gate for the dorm. Everyone seems to know where they are going, and I still keep thinking the most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us. I should go somewhere too, to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The wariness in me only grows as I trudge towards the dorms, set a little way apart from the school building complex. There is a garden of sorts between the school and the dorms, shrubbery, flowers, that overbearing smell of fresh, cut grass that fills the atmosphere. It dawns on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside at all for so long. The dorm building is big and made of red brick. Like the others, it feels way too pompous for what it is, so I push forward, going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Room 119. Despite the ornate exterior, the inside of the dorm is fairly new and functional, and boring. Just like in the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. The same goes for the elevators at the ends of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. Seems that only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs at the upper floor. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seems to have a toilet, a shower, as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall, I spy room 119. The nameplates on the rooms adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are just 2 of us here. Light shines from below the room of 117, so I knock lightly. Oh no, is it Master Chief? Hello, is anyone home? From inside I hear a few movements, then clicking way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a moment, the door squeaks open. A bespectacled boy is standing in the doorway. He's looking at me very intently through his extremely thick eyeglasses. Who is it? Blind? No, at least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses if he was? He leans closer to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. Haisyo Nikai. I'm moving into the next room. I thought I would introduce my... His face suddenly brightens in realization, and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smiling greeting, almost straight to my diaphragm. Oh, sup, dude? My name's Kenji. I'm back, Harry Potter. Yes, we found Harry Potter. Oh, hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and vehement welcome. There were some suspicious-looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It was probably my parents. Your parents, you sure? Because they could have been some other people too. You can't judge a book by its cover. His out-of-place proverb is left hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Haisyo. Me, I don't think I could trust the chances. The only one I trust is myself. Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? He thinks about this for a while. A wise decision. Damn, you are smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodge it. Never mind, it doesn't matter. With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search of the door handle, and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of the door marked 119. Blank beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of light wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room, impersonal, like my hospital room was. My bags are sitting at the front of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stocked with my clothes. Also, it seems that there are a number of school uniforms hanging there as well. A note is pinned to the sleeve of one of the shirts. Hi, Hee-chan. We've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that if these don't fit, then you should go to the office tomorrow. If you have any problems, you can always call us. Love, Mom and Dad. Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. I kind of hoped I would have. Then there would be something to do. It's still too early. I put the note back down on the desktop and lie down on the bed feeling drained. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. I wonder if the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whenever I have nothing to do. The restless urge just keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's a stress or something. It was pretty nervous about it before coming, and for the entire day today too. I still am, I think. Damn, I have to distract myself somehow, so I won't be this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow, I'll go borrow some books from the library. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now, the bottle of medications neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I pick up one and shake it just to hear the contents rattle inside, and then read the glued-on pharmacy label. Heste, Akai, 2 tablets daily to stay alive. It doesn't really say that, but it could just as well. It's kind of twisted having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? With a sigh, I begin my new daily ritual of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosage. I lie down again, feeling hollow, uncertain, and after that I keep staring at the blank, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar, not even after darkness falls and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. Time to take our ED pills, exactly. We must. The sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm, and nest-like against the chill that passes from room temperature here. Soon the lighter shade of darkness that is the ceiling looks like every ceiling does at night, and it becomes the only thing I recognize anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I say, what choice do I have? I want the blood pumping when the time comes, exactly. I keep drifting further away from the world I knew. And he dies in his sleep. Game over. Game over. We finally, I think this is Act 1. I don't know. I don't even know if we finish Act 1 at all. I wake up in a strange room. Varden, I am so smart. I forgot to get my charger back from my Chromebook. Now I am unable to do homework. No. How could you? That's not smart at all. No. How dares. How dares. No. Oh well, unfortunate. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I had forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. This is my room, isn't it? Oh, sorry to hear that, Leather. Yes, I am also sorry to hear that. This is the 3rd room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me of that. Indeed, it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bags on the floor, my new school of books on the desk, my numerous medications on the night table. I stare at the bottles for a moment deliberating, until I open a bottle and shake out a pill and pop out a tablet from a oil sheet. I down them with a chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry. My uniforms are in the closet. I slink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh cloth against my back is a good one, a natural one. It feels like a school uniform, as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear before. I didn't mean to. I lended it to someone else to borrow, and I genuinely forgot I gave it to them, and forgot to ask for it back. Got too busy playing Fortnite in esports. Oh no. I take the 7th like. By the way, I see. Thank you, thank you. But how could you forget? How dare? That goes for the other things too. So far, this place seems more or less like a normal school. Except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday. Misha's constant laughter and Shizune's sweeping sign language gestures. Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure others are. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here. Yeah, what does pass for normal around here? What do people do? I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after classes yesterday, so maybe there are clubs. If so, I wonder if I should join one. Although all through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decide to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. So, what's it like being deaf? My goodness. She crosses her arms and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfect and evenly flat. Oh, look at that. That's a really cute face. Sorry, Shichen. Is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That's a good question, Hicha. My first thought is, what that means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyway, Misha, please don't prove me right. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there isn't really anything else to do. There are also school events, like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with it, doing whatever. So, you actually transferred in at a busy time. Maybe you can help out, too. I'm gonna go see if I can't go to the store and buy a computer charger, or ask to borrow my family's computer. Do so. Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes. I don't know, Hichan. The truth is, it's a local event, and I'm not from this area, so... She starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking her to bail her out. Shizune adjusts her glasses at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish, and starts signing hard and heavy. I'm a dip, chow. Later, leather. Huh, oh. Who cares? Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts Shizune words at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud. I can see heads turning to look in our direction. Not so loud. Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change with time. Now it's about delicious fried food and amusing little games that you play to win prizes. The teacher clears his throat very loudly, batting his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Shizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though brushing it off without a care. We are in the middle of class and should start working. That's right, Shichan. What, that's right. Hichan, are you asking because you are interested in joining a club? It could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchanged between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that every other word anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Shizune look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. It doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who's also looking at the dark-haired girl go. Why doesn't he say anything? Hichan, is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me, after the girl who left? No, nothing. Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you? I thought I would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. Yeah, but when can I talk to the other girl? Yay. Okay, Hichan, perfect. The rest of class passes uneventfully. The girl with the long hair never came back. Before I have time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all of our work on time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything. Yes, it is, Hichan. Impossible. Really? Really? I've noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be so Shizune can't understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and me. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune. I'm still looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing. But really? Shizune can't hear me, but it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing, and will take some time to get used to. It's not a contest, because contests are competitions over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, it's not really a contest. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me, as if surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I've never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. Here we go again. Here we go. Are you sure, Hichan? Very sure. You're wrong, Hichan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Shizume pushes her glasses up the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. I'd argue more, but the bell rings, and she quickly gets up and picks up her bag, looking at me expectantly. I had almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Where do you want to eat? The cafeteria? That's so plain. Okay, let's go. Plain, well, I guess. At my old school, I liked to eat outside, near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until near the end of my freshman year. I wonder if there is a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Shizune and Misha pull me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favor eating in classroom or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had box lunches. After we finish eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier. So, Hichan, you wanted to know about clubs and stuff, right? Right? Right, Hichan. Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first. Exchanging little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she is about to deliver a speech. Hichan, do you have anything you're really interested in? I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I usually just read a lot. There is a book club, right, Hichan? Right? But it seems like they have all the members they can possibly have right now. Sorry, Hichan. It's a really popular club. Oh, okay. But more to the point, Hichan, does that mean that you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Good, great. That's great, Hee-chan. Really great. What's so great? No reason. Well, Hee-chan, other than clubs, the upcoming festival, there is one other thing. Student council. I see, I didn't know the school had a student council. That was a very melodramatic setup, though, just to tell me that. I'm pretty sure the two of them know this because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it, and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly retakes control of the discussion. In a manner of speaking, after all, it's still Misha who has to voice whatever she says. Right, Hee-chan. Maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join. Why? Well, for one, we could hang out every day, Hee-chan. Shi-chan and I are both in the student council. Actually, Shi-chan is the president. I'm starting to get this suspicion that Shi-chan and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about with. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glasses and signs something to Misha. Of course, we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from your joining the student council, and therefore having an incentive to try and get you to... So you're admitting that... No, we admit nothing. I mean, Hee-chan, of course it would be nice if you joined and we'd accepted it. But even without all that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of one's school. Yep, it's true, Hee-chan. Besides, don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hee-chan? I can tell if she is being genuine or if this is just really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look their cutest, although they are already pretty cute to begin with. Well, to be honest, I'm more interested in the girl with the long dark hair. So it's settled then. Welcome to the student council, Hee-chan. What? No. Aw, see, Shi-chan, of course it wouldn't go so easily. Yep, that's right, though. It would be boring if it went that smoothly. Oh well, Shi-chan owes me candy now. You were betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. Shizune seems very intrigued by this when Misha signs it to her. The aggressive glint returns in her eyes. That's interesting, Hee-chan. Let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Hee-chan? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Oh, why not? Well, because you two both have the same incentive, and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Yep. Yeah, that isn't my goal, but what this means is that both of you can team up, and I'll be at a clear disadvantage, so I will have to decline. Hee-chan, I'm very offended. Are you saying that you don't trust us? That we would pull something so disingenuous? That makes me sad. I'm a lurk as I frantically find out a way to do my homework on my phone and try to figure out how to get my charger back again. You definitely have to talk to whoever you gave it to. It's hard to tell where Shizune's influence ends and Misha's thoughts begin. In order to atone for the hurting a young girl's feelings, you should definitely join the student council. No. How about a game of paper football instead of rich man, poor man? Paper football? Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle, and then you try to shoot it past the goalpost that the other player makes with the fingers. I used to do that when I was a kid. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hee-chan. And it's also played by elementary, middle school children. Shi-chan. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. Paper football was awesome. That was fun, More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not going to play that either. Just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good at it. Yeah, that's true. How did you know, Hichan? Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. Paper football? It's where you make the, that paper triangle, and then you make a goal, like the other person makes the goal post, and you try to, kick it through the goal, flick it through the goal. And basically you just take turns doing that. It's pretty fun. I don't know if they still do that. Can't imagine they wouldn't. It's a pretty simple game. I've never been on the one before, or even known anybody who was a member, so it interests me. I also kind of like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Yeah, but I want to talk to the girl with the long dark hair. Okay, Hichan, how about Risk, the game of world domination? I do like that game. I don't know what that is. Yep, you just had to watch your eyes for the triangles. It's really fun, Hichan. You fight for control of the world with armies and everything. Sounds like Shizune would be good at it. Oh, that game. My classmates did it a few times. And Risk is great too. That is true. That is true. If you want to play, we can after school. Really, Shichan? We can play just for fun, Hichan. Shichan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want to, there are no strings attached. I mean, I do want to play. Well, okay. Okay. Perfect. We'll see you after school in the student council room. Then, Hichan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end, I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete, just by accepting to take a look around and play a game with her. Lunch ends, and we go back to class. But I want to talk to the No, don't run away, please. During us afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. But I want to talk to her. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly finds me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I've been considering it. Nevertheless, I'm a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past that they're on their guard. What's with this escort? This doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell. What's wrong, Hichan? That's right. We're just going to go play a game of Risk, remember? I don't know, Misha. This all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Not the worst thing that can happen. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason, it just seems like it would be so plausible. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What, that's it? This makes you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly. That's not true, Hichan. Shichan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown the capacity to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. Life is threatened. Her expression unchanging, Misha signs something amusingly to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and puts her hands behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerily. Stop that. I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, although it is quite large, maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center, surrounded by chairs, and a smaller desk predominantly placed in the back, that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked on to one side, as well as extras, perhaps. Aside from the tables and chairs, The room doesn't have much else to offer, just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old school records and documents. Not much else, in fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant in here or something. But the most noticeable thing that this room doesn't have is other people. Are we early? No. What do you mean no? Does it mean nobody else is coming today? Yeah, that's right. Before I managed to ask why that's the case, Chisune clasped her hands together very energetically. I'm guessing no one else is a part of this student council. Hichan, let's play Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. Well, Misha is talking. Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Did you snap your fingers? No, that was in the game. That was a game sound. Yeah, Risk time. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I start feeling more competitive than I intended to be then when I agreed to this. They rule the waves. Honestly, Europe is a bad position for Risk. Usually the best positions are North America, South America, Africa, and the Australia, Indonesia, whatever that area is called. Those are kind of like the best starting places. That honestly scared the crap out of me with my homework. True, Europe sucks for Risk. Halfway into the game, while I try to wonder how to defend against Chizune's assault from two fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Essay and Africa are what I usually pick. Yeah, Essay and Africa are the two best ones. Australia's good too, but you can easily get trapped there. And then North America is like the best one if you can manage it. If you can manage to get the entire continent, it's actually really easy to hold. Shichan wants you to know that you are taking too long to make a move. Shichan also says that she will let you keep Australia if you agree to join the student council. Oh my god. No. I don't want Australia. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. What are you two talking about with the countries and the defense and all that? Oh, we're talking about Risk, the game Risk. And anyway, no. Chichan admires your fighting spirit and will be a benevolent dictator if you will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous. Magnanimous? Has no clue of Risk. It's a board game. She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who in return signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index fingers against her temples as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shinzune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace of her heated signing. Wait, please slow down, Shichan. Hishan. Shichan says you're going to lose. Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Oh, okay. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. She says you have no choice If you keep playing like this, no you won't. It's a trap. It's smarter to play defensively here. She has a point. Attack aggressively. The thing is, yeah, playing defensively, especially if they control most of the world, is a bad idea. Attack aggressively. She's either really mocking me or trying to trick me. I have nothing else to lose though, so I might as well try something different. Maybe if I spread out my forces and try to control more territories, I can recoup the advantage. Genuinely aggressive. Yeah, if you play too passively in Risk, especially if you don't have a lot, you'll lose. Shizune seems to focus on conquering whole nations, so maybe I can sacrifice my hold on continents to gain more small countries. It's worth a shot. A few turns later, I end up losing the game anyway. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration. Oh. I win, yay. There's no need to translate that, it was pretty clear. Don't look so sad, Hichan. You were really giving it your best, that's what I thought. Sometimes your best just isn't good enough. Though, if anyone knows that, it's me. You did very well for someone who just learned how to play it today. My goodness. Hichan, you attacked Iceland and North America at the same time. That's a very daring move. Hichan is impressed. The mark of great people is that they are daring, and that they can follow through. You're already halfway there. Isn't that great, Hichan? I never played many games. I don't play too many board games anymore, but back in the day I used to play Risk and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. It's really fun to play board games. I mean, you can play, there's computer versions of a lot of these board games. That isn't enough though. Just potential isn't enough. There is no point in potential if you don't take the first step, and there is no point to that if you don't keep going. I want to see more. You're right, Hichan, but that's so demanding. Shizune leans forward and suddenly looking a lot less playful and more like the serious person I expected her to be from the start. Hichan, would you like to join the student council? She really doesn't waste any time, does she? But it's only my second day of school, so I hesitate about committing to something so early. I haven't even taken a look at any other clubs yet. But spending time with Shizune and Misha doesn't seem like something I would hate. I still need more time to think about it before I decide for sure. Maybe I'll get back to you on it. Okay, Hichan, but I hope you're not just saying that so we don't feel bad. No, really. Really? Hichan, if you're going to say that, you're saying that it is definitely the truth, and there can't be any mistaking it. I know, I guess. I should have my revenge for losing, at the very least. Shizune smiles at that in a mischievous way that feels like twisting the knife in the wound of my loss. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be, unless the librarian is absent. The computer games are lacking something, though. That is true. I think you're right, Hichan. We think the library is open. It's on the second floor. Can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. One flight of stairs up, and I run into problems. The second floor hallway is a carbon copy of the third floor one. Wide, of course, and plain, like only hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there is a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet bet on the latter and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though, just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to this school can't be shaken from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though it's much easier to open than I anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head ever further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. Oh, it's you. This is not as I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to full extent, taking in the sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway, staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently, having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently pulls down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there, may I help you? Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the sounds rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's a being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi, sorry for intruding. I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting the teacup saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That and the slight cloudiness in her eyes means she must be at least partially blind, like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku. Oh yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. Utter confidence. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match, before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lily Setao. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of the teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair, prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along a shelf. My online class work, the poem uses old language. You will not understand this the first time through. Me, no, I will be fine. The poem, I'm gibberish. Me, what the heck is this? Well, it's obviously about, the futility of speech, How language fails to capture, words, things like that. That's obviously what it's about. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whatever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty finger to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I've never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer, preparing the drink. So, see, well, Leather, at least you don't accidentally get given an occult summoning ritual by your teacher. I was in junior high, and my teacher mixed up the forms while he was rushing, and he was pagan but kept it under wraps. So he mixed up our homework with the personal papers in our poetry class. Oh my goodness. An occultist. How dare. Her soft voice brings me out of the silent observance. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library, Shizune and me, some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi's as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right. In the science room with Matao. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. Imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. So his pagan group were supposed to have a ritual on that weekend, and he accidentally printed and gave them our homework. Our parents and principals were pissed. The plot thickens. Oh my goodness. Darn pagans. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. This house I find. After a few times I figured out what this is. In this house I find. Ah. Nevertheless, it smells quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Tao. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please. There's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try and ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the 3rd floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Oh, sorry. I feel like slapping myself for the box pass. Looking at her face, though, she doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. Also, the blonde girl has the hair of one of my beta designs. It's a nice hair. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Oh, sure, sorry, I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I came here fairly often during lunchtimes. My duties as class representative don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune's blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kinds of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunchtimes, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, though such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if the school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Oh good, that's a relief. I've really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact she seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally started drinking it as Lily does the same. As I look over to the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room has distinctly orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. The time's gone quickly. Sorry. Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of time. Sorry, Hisao, I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly moved to allay her concern. Oh no, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True, it's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me, which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's all right. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great, thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that had been slipped in the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. His must be for support, whereas Lily's is for navigation. Together, we share the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers. We slowly walk through the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with a distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. There don't seem to be a lot of students here, considering the time. It isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to a thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course, Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Ah? The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out from and bounces up to an extremely rigid attention. Hi, Lily. How can I help you? Her voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual. She's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing. I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for a pencil, dropped, and then I was looking for both of them. You came to surprise me. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. Ah, Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived. Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but... Amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the subject, the topic, I'm sure she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Haiseo, Hasao, a new student. Hasao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hasao, right. Hisao, pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. Please Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How it's any responsibility at all I don't get, but her objection is so sincere. I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. But, so there are a lot of books in Braille here. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work, at least partially, as Yuko seems to not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or fourth of Yamaku's library is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense given all the blind students that'd be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we got a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome, and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. A very awkward silence follows the revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well, meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally citing one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice in here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is. a library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lily in snuck with us in here, unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks set for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd student sitting at a desk either reading or stealthily sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of several beanbags. It's her. It's the dark-haired girl from my class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious, long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts looking scaredly up at me from beneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face, at least a third of it, if not half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immensely drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. For a second, I am shocked and divert my eyes to the book in her hands before I realize that looking away probably only makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect myself and remember what I walked up to her for. Let's see. Hi, I'm new here. Asao Nakai. We're in the same class. Should I say I'm sorry to startle you? Or should I introduce myself? I'll introduce myself. Hi, I'm new here. Asao Nakai. We're in the same class. I just transferred here the other day. Maybe you don't remember. I did a self-introduction too. The girl still doesn't say a word, but simply stares at me, wide-eyed. I'm still getting used to the place, so I'm trying to meet as many people as I can. I was gonna say sorry. Woody. So, what's your name? Hanako. Hanako. Her speech is stuttering and so quiet that it is barely audible, even in the still library. Somehow I think that my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Hanako, so what are you reading? She gently tips the book backwards so that I can read the title, at the same time hiding her face behind it. Forgive me for not being quick. I am actually responding to someone right now. It's alright. But yeah, this is the girl I was most interested in. She must have noticed me staring before. Life of Pi. I've never heard of it before. What's it about? Life of Pi. A boy and a tiger. On a boat. I can see this taking some time. Sounds interesting. Is it any good? She nods from behind the book, but stays silent. She looks kinda tense, a bit like Yuko earlier, but in a different way, more like petrified with terror, I'd say. So the mystery delinquent girl turned out to be anything but, and she is quivering in a way that makes it look like she is mortally afraid of me. The only way out of this, as far as I can tell, is to try to get a normal conversation going. Oh no, she's so shy. She probably has anxiety issues. Is it a library book? I'm looking for new ones to read, but there's just so many. Then no, it's mine. Oh, so do you come here often? A huge blush spreads on Hanako's face, and her eyes widen far larger than I thought it was possible for eyes to do. Uh-oh. Did she interpret my lame attempt at small talk as a feeble attempt to pick her up? I mean, if she wants, I, I'm good with that. I didn't mean it like that. I, 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 I've got to get going. I got to go do something. No, no. Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs towards the counter. No. Her hair-like takeoff catches me off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. No, I don't want her to run away. No. Oh well, at least I got to talk to her. Hanako, that's her name. By the time I reach the counter, she is nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you notice a girl run past here? Maybe. What did she look like? Long dark hair, kind of shy. She had, well, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear, Yuko. Would you excuse me? I had better try and find her. Sure, I'll just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. I'm guessing she has bad anxiety. Lily hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing, I just talked to her, tried to get to know her, didn't even manage to get started. Yuko sighs and looks awfully bothered, even more so than she did before. Don't interact with the quiet kids, let them interact with you first. I don't know. The MC's misconception of Hanako be reminding me of the misconception of my classmate had of me. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, don't interact with the quiet kids. I don't know, because sometimes the quiet kids will never interact with you. After all, I was the quiet kid. Well, I was quietish kid. I didn't like being bothered. Let's see, Yuko sighs and looks awfully bothered, even more so than she did before. I guess you weren't wrong so much as tactless. Tactless? Tactless? That girl is a bit of a special case. It's like she never really talks to anyone. Isn't that a bit strange? I wonder, it's just how she is, I think. Yuko doesn't sound all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. I have to interact, or else I get deducted class points. My goodness, what kind of school does that? Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. Perhaps I was going to being a little tactless after all. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casually only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something to that, but resists it. I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. I guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. It makes me smile, and she blushes heavily. The one where you're forced into extroverted classes. No, that's terrible. That's terrible. Well, what? Did that sound stupid? No. It sounded really wise. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. Neither of us have anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on their desk really like doing that. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing, but I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because I'll just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from beside the beanbags where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. I hope I didn't make the wrong choice when trying to talk to her. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too, honestly. At least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time earlier this year, so I just kind of started reading books to fill the time. I couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else and just checks out my books for me. I guess this is what they call tact. Holding the library books with one arm, I trawl my pocket for the key to the door. A sudden sound from behind startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying or the key that I almost managed to get into the lock. Who is it? I turn around to see who's talking to me. It's Kenji. He seems to be in a friendly mood, although the light glinting off his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. This makes him pause and lick his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone called me. Are you some new guy again? His voice is suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we've met before, yesterday. I don't think so. I remember someone who I met only yesterday. When was that? What day is it today? I try to ignore him. Is he joking or what? Prove that we've met before. You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumps back, his eyes filled with an uncomprehending fear. How do you know my name? Damn, this can only mean one of two things. Either we have met, and you are telling the truth, or I just can't remember it, or you are a spy. He pauses. A psychic spy. His eyes dart around me, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. His mood swung from friendly to manic in less than a minute. I'm not psychic. How do I know that? I'm not a mind reader. Kenji points a finger in my face damningly. Unlike you. Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Lies. If you think you can pass as Pasio because I'm legally blind, you are sorely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is real slim. Maybe at a distance, but who do you think you're kidding? I want to grab him by the shoulders, shake him. Exacerbated, I rub my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. The default anime geek in anime. Exactly. Stay there. Kenji comes closer, one careful step at a time. I stay still, lest he assault me physically, although I doubt he could do much damage even if he did. Oh wait, I see it now. Damn, it really is you. Sighing again, then once again, for good measure, I step backwards, just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good, I think. Something wrong? I don't know, I just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things, actually. Even if you discount this one. I can't get a proper touch on other people here, and I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling this to Kenji. It's not like we've had any contact or either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think that Kenji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us. You see, this is how it is in this world. There is no justice, you see. Even when I lose, I win, because I don't lose the lesson. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He dismisses it flatly, with a wave of his hand. So what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face? It's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally, two. She actually ran away from me. Was my fault really? I think. I'm not really used to all this yet. A girl? A cute one? Cute, that's a hard question. She had a nice body, really beautiful hair. But the face... I guess it could go either way. She was cute. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it. There are a lot of cute girls here, a strangely disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets of this school. I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets. Yes, dark secrets. Extremely dark, like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in this school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60-40. He turns his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I mean, To the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but that is a full 20%. One would think that a school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no. What I am about to tell you would blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. No, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kenji starts talking again, showing that he doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that the school is a battleground, the site of a feminist infiltration. This disparity in the number of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case this Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. Just another skirmish in the internal war against the forces of the feminists. They're everywhere. In Japan, women outnumber men. It's not a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time of man. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up their numbers in the past. The buildup of a military has always been the clearest sign of imminent war. Oh my goodness. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. Flat earther spotted. The perfect target. They are so cunning, as expected of women. Oh my goodness. Soon the day will come. When Kenji's voice trails off, ominously. That is why you can't trust them. They will string you along, and then kill you. Just as they killed me, you will end up just like me. Oh hell no. I can't stop myself from blurting it out. Hey, what the hell does that mean? The dude believes in conspiracy theories. But what if he's right? What if he's right this whole time, and he's warning us? You know? It's always possible. After all, this is a game world. He's telling the truth. Wait. You said it, not me. It's the best I can think of. So, you're not supposed to say something like that? Damn, so rude. Where was I? Oh yeah, vast feminist conspiracy. Stop it, stop. I lost you way back there somewhere around feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow. It's cool. I have some graphs and stuff in my room. And puppets. You like puppets? No puppets. You don't like puppets? Okay. Graphs are still cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. This is too strange. I had him pegged as relatively normal, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be the last sane man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean, that's you? That can't be, because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. That is my dream. You can't just steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be two last sane men. It would invalidate the whole last part, and that part is kind of important. There can only be one, like in that foreign movie where there could only be one, and in the end, there's only one dude left, because that was the point. Highlander? You're talking about Highlander. I have never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Anyway, if you wait here, I can get my graphs. I also have a list of other dark and complex conspiracies that this school holds, as tangled as... Quick, finish my analogy for me. Be a pal. I'm going to go to bed now. It's extremely late. That doesn't sound like an analogy, but whatever. I like you. You seem like a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later. He clasps me on the back and then vanishes into his room. So quickly and quietly, it's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked right through it like a ghost. I don't know if I can fully digest what happened, so I give up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into my bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up so I can get started on homework. It's, it's because of the sheets are so cool and comforting against my cheeks. It feels good just lying there with my eyes closed. The school is like some kind of bizarre, surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. I just can't seem to fit in. What irony, one would think, that fitting in a place that's made for people who are upset or anywhere else would be easy. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help that take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off my empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more a school, and less a hospital pretending it's a school, than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. I opened one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on the desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Oh, did I get to new chapter? New act? New act. I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I started doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though Shizune and Misha might jump on me to try to get an answer about whether or not I have decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do. So this situation is convenient for me. Hello Sen, good to see you. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head and see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now. There is no escape." Hichan, it looks like we're together again. Yay, yay. Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now, unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. Sadly. What's wrong, Hichan? Oh, Hichan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hichan. We were talking about it after you left. It would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Right? I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense. Even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that's over. Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in a overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly reading. In fact, there are only 2 problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much, considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Who? Hichan? Her, Hanako. Over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, Hichan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Hichan. I think I broke my homework. No, why not? Hichan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lifting up and down quality present in everything she says. Just because, Hichan. By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying this whole time. What, Shishan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? The friend of my enemy is my enemy. That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that. You said it anyway. Wait, they don't like each other? Wait, why does she hate her, of all people? I know, Hichan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand a thing Shizune is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there is never a conversation Shizune will be left out of? Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hichan. But I wanna talk to Hanako. We finished with the time to spare, and I decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing amongst themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. There is Musik. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone in class is busying themselves with lunch break, socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks, the ones with actual box lunches mixed in, and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels that I'm only one who can see her, almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I've started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? Ah, man. I have a feeling all these, like, talking to her is going to be bad, but you know what? I want to talk to Hanako. I feel bad for making her run away yesterday, so I'm better say something. This is probably the wrong decision. Hey there, Hanako? Hi, Seo. Hi, Sao. Well, at least she remembers my name. Varden. What? What, I want to talk to Hanako. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. I didn't mean to startle you or anything. Why? Because I want to talk to Hanako. I'm just new here and I thought I should get to know my classmates. Why? Why? Because I do. As Hanako looks at me, I notice her scarring once more. It's a little bewildering that you can barely notice it from across the room, but it's so noticeable from up close up. That's okay. It was my fault. No, that wasn't anyone's fault. It's just kind of happened. So are you waiting for someone? I saw you looking at the door before. It's probably being overdramatic. Yes, Lily. Oh, you mean Lily, the blind girl? Hanako only nods in response, and I can't help but wonder if defining people through their disabilities is a box pass of the worst kind, or just normal here. I guess that explains why Lily took off after her yesterday. She seems like a nice girl. Are you two friends? Yes. As if hoping for Lily to appear, she checks over her shoulder again. I think I'm making her nervous again. I hope I'm not disturbing you right now. No, that's not it. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here. Oh, because it's hard to get around the classroom. Not really. Haruko's gaze drifts past my shoulder and towards Shizune. Interesting. Shizune? Haruko nods again. What about her? Don't they get along? Haruko shakes her head. Clearly this is something she doesn't want to talk about. It does make a strange sort of sense. Shizune and Lily not getting along so well. Communication between the two would be all but impossible. It's hard enough talking to Shizune through Misha, even when you can see whose hands are talking. Hanako is so focused on Shizune that I am the first to notice Lily at the door. Oh, she's here now. Hanako spins around to confirm this. Upon seeing Lily, she moves quickly to the door. Lily? Oh, Hanako, good morning. Is the president here? Yes. Hanako glances over her shoulder at Shizune again, as if to confirm she can't hear them, even though that's impossible. I suppose we'd best be off then. Lily's sigh and tone of what seems like frustration makes me raise my eyebrow. I guess there's some kind of enmity between the two. It's intriguing, but that's not really something I'd talk about. I'm sure if they wanted me to know, then they would tell me. It's only my third day here. I should be trying to make friends, not finding out why people are enemies. Still, it's a little funny to find out that the school has little feuds, just like my old school. Even if people are more tolerant of others, they're still going to get on each other's nerves. Hey Lily, how are things? I'm sorry I made you run off yesterday. Oh my, is that how... Hi Seo. I didn't realize you were here. It seems that Lily is a little embarrassed about being so frank in front of me. Sorry Lily, I thought you realized. No, it's alright, Hanako. Hi Sao, please don't worry about yesterday. It was just a misunderstanding. If you say so, I'm still working this place out. Well then, I think you'll find most people here are a lot more forgiving than elsewhere. If you are feeling a little confused, please don't be afraid to ask questions. Sure, I'll remember that. Lily? Lily gives a small nod of acknowledgement. I'm sorry, Haisao, but we must be off. Hanako really doesn't look all that comfortable here right now, and Lily still seems a little embarrassed. I wonder if my apologies really made any impact. Mind if I accompany you two? I know I'm kind of pushing it, but Lily hums quietly, still smiling. I'm sure that we could accommodate you, can't we, Hanako? She looks at Lily, then at me, then she freezes, wide-eyed. Sure. Well then, shall we go? I'm sure Lily wouldn't do this so easily if she saw how scared Hanako looked, but it can't be helped now. Declining after the deal is sealed would only cause confusion and problems. So we leave all three together. Lily walks behind the wall, letting her king gently tap against it every now and then. Hanako comes along right beside her, so close that she is practically half hugging her as they go. Lily, the secret mafia boss of the school. That would be something. Her mere presence terrifies the others. Although it must make her walking that much harder. Lily takes it in stride. Oh yeah, and then it turns out Hanako is like her number one like assassin, you know. Oh my goodness. As we turn around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a steam train. Hanako shrieks a little, and my vision briefly goes black. Ouch. Oh no. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. Hit women Hanako has a good ring too. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has now fallen down into the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and a very weird frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. A wild blonde has appeared, trying to take me away from Hanako. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. Well, she has legs, they're just, down below the knee. Or she does, but they are not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs end in shines and feet made of some black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. The legs are pure carbon steel. Nice. Oh man, hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. Wow, how rude. How rude. I wasn't looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic, in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay, don't worry about it. Ouch. Oh no, I'm about to have a heart attack. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. Oh yeah, he got hit in the chest. So I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You literally killed me. You killed me. It seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds, dumbfounded, till I realize that I probably looked worse off than I really was, doubled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I overly worried about my heart. No need, I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me. Big time, but it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay. I said I was fine, and nothing's broken. No harm done. Dies immediately. That's good. I was... Sal, what happened? She's not quite up to speed for obvious reasons, but she sounds very worried. More than what the situation deserves, really. Someone just bumped into me. Nothing serious, just winded. Sorry, it's my fault. I was just going to get some stuff, and I was in a kind of hurry. That someone here is Emily, isn't it? The little girl coughs quietly and shuffles her plastic, metallic feet, looking down at them before saying something. You messed up and bumped into the mafia. How dare you? You gotta pay us back. Hi, Lily. Hanako. I guess the girls know each other. Do please try to be more careful. You might be sturdy enough to endure those kinds of accidents, but there are people who aren't. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously, like a little child caught misbehaving. Don't hurt me, boss. It was an accident. Don't take those... Don't take these legs, too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the reason why she has no legs. Oh my goodness. It's so cute. I find myself smiling. I know that. I was just... Oh, I gotta go. Teacher, I'll have my head... Oh, teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, but I gotta change and everything. Before any of us can say anything, Emily has already bolted away, leaving the hallway eerily quiet. Does that kind of thing happen often around here? There are more rules in Yamako than usual for running in corridors, but that rarely stops Emily, it seems. I got to go. Be right back. Goodbye, Leather. Goodbye. She shakes her head weakly, and offers a slight composed smile. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop her, I'm afraid. Shall we be off then? Lily heads off along the hallway, and Hanako hurries after her. The route to the room the two use for tea is fairly simple to retrace, being still fresh in my mind from yesterday. Lily and Hanako quickly go about the business of making lunch. Before I can even open my small bag of food, Lily's busying herself with her thermos and tea bags as Hanako is setting out both her lunchboxes. So is this what you meant by coming here almost every day? Yes, Hanako and I usually have lunch here. It suits both of us, so we ended up using this room regularly. After seeing Hanako's reactions to me over the past couple of days, I can understand why that is a boon. That and Lily being able to get some quiet away from her class as well. I take my seat last after Lily's poured the tea for us and sits down. The more time I spend with these girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil to Misha and Shizume. Even without a voice, Shizune is direct and brash, and Misha seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met. Eating with the mob. Exactly. With the mob. I mean, I really like Hanako. I like Hanako. So how are you faring in Yamaku, Hisao? You seemed to a bit flustered before. Apart from getting lost every now and again, and being crash-tackled outside my classroom, fine, I guess. You looked pretty hurt before. Are you really okay? For a brief moment, I considered telling Hanako and Lily about my condition, but then I hold it back. I can't tell why, but for some reason, I feel uncomfortable talking about it to these relative strangers, even if they have been pretty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expressions, I don't think they are buying it, but in what I assume is their way of respecting my privacy, they don't press the matter. I guess that is one of the unwritten rules around here. Don't ask. Even if people's conditions are obvious, like Hanako's, there's still bound to be a story involved. Everyone has things that they don't feel comfortable speaking about, and I think everyone here recognizes that. So, how long have you been in this school? You both seem to know your way around pretty well. Well, I've been here since the start of the high school, but only moved into the dormitories a year ago. Hanako joined at the start of the high school as well, and moved to the dormitories when she did, if memory serves me right. That's right, since high school. So you've known each other since then? Since I moved, yes. Hanako lives next door to me, so it's only natural, right? Right. Yeah, of course. Living next to someone is probably reason enough to befriend them, though I'm guessing that Lily's blindness played a part in it as well. I can't imagine Hanako easily making friends with someone who has to deliberately avoid looking at her scars. With the immediate conversation dried up, we start to eat our lunch. It isn't long before the bells are signaling the end of the break. Like me, the girls pack up their lunches as efficiently as they set them out. I guess I'd better be off. Are you going to go with Hisao, Hanako? Hanako looks up at me, and for a second I can see that she is considering skipping class, maybe just to avoid walking to the classroom with me. Yes. I don't know what to think of it. Hanako really is delicate to the point of breaking if looked at in the wrong way. It makes me a bit nervous too, but I push the feeling aside, trying to be as natural as I can. They pack up with the mafia like efficiency. My goodness. We should hurry then. Class has already started, by the sound of it. Lily gives a nod of farewell as she bends down to take her cane. Hanako and I filing out before her. We walk quickly down the empty halls to our respective classes. As we reach the door to Lily's 3-2 classroom, She turns towards me. Kasao, thank you for sharing lunch with us today. My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering her classroom and leaving Hanako and me to make off to our own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So do you really want to go back to class now? Yes. Okay. I feel like I should say something more to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. And Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the rear door to the class and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy practically ignored. There's definitely something going on here. We make our way to our seats, and I notice that Misha and Shizune are both missing as well. I wonder if it is some form of informal agreement with the staff, or if it's a perk afforded to the unique students of this school. Trying to make as little disturbance as I can, I extract the relevant textbooks from my bag and start catching up. The class goes on quickly, or quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. They ignore Hanako's absences, and in exchange, the school gets part of the mob money from her missions. Probably right. Either that or they're scared of her. Like, there won't be any accidents as long as they ignore it. When the final bell sounds, I've realized there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd at the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Tao is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there is nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I'd do after school. The teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen he is holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment, I'm reminded of Shizune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No, I consider joining a club, but don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Utao looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It's like, it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them. And it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone, even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can't ignore her face. I can. Well, I don't necessarily ignore it. It's a part of her, her charm. Wutao sounds like a good teacher. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straightened in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher desk with her bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Mutao, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha, in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado? Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. Yes? But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs her eyes. So what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left there. So do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan, the president thought that a teacher would know if there is plywood. Was she wrong? Matao looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible, like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there is any plywood in the school, let alone where would be if there was any. Oh, what should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nobia. I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. Ah, I don't have time. We are so busy. She holds her head with both her hands, looking as despairing as is possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There is so much to do, and we are falling behind the schedule. Matao looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit in his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me focusedly with a hard expression, as if trying to say, go make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Hee-chan. You are really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelping, ah, and looking very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Hee-chan doing here? Class is over, and you should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hee-chan? No, I'm not. Is Hee-chan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Mutao sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So what do you need? Here's a list. I can try to find the plywood from somewhere else, if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Oh. Still, thanks, Hee-chan. Try to be quick. We are in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting that is undoubtedly Shizunai's. I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classroom's closest to ours, are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost invisible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. And, oh, something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform, with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner, very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing, or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctured only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hisao is catching L's in observation today. He just doesn't see anything. That might be part of his condition. Hello? The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello, I was told to pick up some supplies from here. For some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. There's a pill for that. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was expecting my observation was false. You are pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai. Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. Was it Rizuka or Tezuka? I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It's kind of bothers me joking about these matters doesn't really feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing earnestly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you are supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. Curry is delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. I can guess. I am good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know what wish I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the school code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overly contemplative look on her face. Or contemplative. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and a sheer lack of tact it was delivered with, catches me completely off guard. How did she know? How did she know it was ED? I think I might have reeled back, even physically, as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing I could think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Sorry, I can never read these. Arthemia. She knows. She knows about the ED. I said it. More like blurted out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. Abort. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? It's just my heart. That's why I take ED pills. I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. I collect people, and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. Huh. So you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch, and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about it, what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else, or didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of the introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hasao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be possible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She is not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of the strange girl. So do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh, and that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I'll look down at my haul and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you are going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. Yeah? I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine then, I'm Isao. Then you are. Watch girls sleeping. This is certainly a good time to return. Oh yes. She's about to take a nap. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There is something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room, as I shut the door in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside I hear a muffled, sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of the Kenji's nutty theory about the global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait. More importantly, who isn't there? There's no club meeting today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. There's no good, Hichan. That's no good, Hichan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. We women have natural stealth. Global conspiracy, no local conspiracy. Girls mafia, yes. There's the girls mafia. Oh, sorry, I got the things that here. We just going to bring them? I think you were up to some mischief, Hichan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs everything quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she's experiencing. With Shizune diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. My granny's very stealthy. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on top of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello? Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Miss Shizuka, what do you think you are doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune, Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't nod, even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask about what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? Rin, it's the end of the world if my work is undone. This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at the huge can of paint as it lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yes, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty, now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of a head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka, too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle Delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about the interpretation either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Don't talk about ED here, Nakai. See, nausea, headache, anything, and come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I hadn't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as much. I just happen to know a few people. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick it up and lift the can up and down a few times, like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yes. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment, and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. The Kaya's spy is not good. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more acoustically than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look at her suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further, nor displays any kind of emotion I couldn't discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all of this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onward towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketch, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the paintings as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles of the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up, went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from the art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent, waving a little with her arms on whatever it is there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has its past few days. This girl doesn't notice any dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there is something I need to figure out, and then figure that out because it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because the paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, and apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project. You did this? Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I brush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was at using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in a dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat, you know, flat like some people are, no substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few girls, oh. Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name any artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky, as if trying to look for something up there. She's asking hard-hitting questions. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizuna Ne. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that, probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, you know, those people who have some. Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Our thinking has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into the shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision done to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green, this green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash, or white. Is green a good color to add? No, idea. You're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream, but you can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that be imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints and crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the last bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on the top of the other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there was some need to conserve words and breath and sound. Nighttime. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. Oh my goodness. We can no longer paint. Oh, that's the end of that day. I wanted to finish off the day before we ended today. And I think that's a good place to end. Let's go ahead and save here. Save. create new save state. Complete, yeah, progress successfully saved. And this is where I think we'll stop for the day today. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I certainly enjoyed this game. This has so far been a pretty good game. I do like him. I like him. To think this was made by Reddit. Or not Reddit, or was it 4chan? I can't remember which one it was. But basically a bunch of random people came together to write this game and make it. Honestly, it's really awesome. Really awesome. But I hope you guys all enjoy the stream. I certainly enjoyed it. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.